Hey, it's time to wake up and remember your dreams. Welcome to the New Spirit Radio Show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date I wrote as January 31st. I didn't know we had more days. Of 2024. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and Reverend Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Answering the ultimate question, why are we here and what is our purpose?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car. One driver gets out and another driver gets in. This allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Rahim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Rahim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during the trance, Sylvia would sit on a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, Reverend Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Hello.
Howdy.
Is it going? Hello, everybody.
No, it's not that way. It's that way.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Online agility test. Fun. Welcome. Glad you all made it. Regardless of when you're watching and how you're watching, we've more fun information to share, and we like to. We love when you share because everybody else learns from it as well. For new people, I want to start out with our agenda, what we are sharing with you, and why does this take so long to get through? Well, because we start out with announcements. Then I follow up with how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy? Not we ask you to share as well. And it's both of us are love to ask and learn about how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy. We get into then special prayers and a moment of silence. We will then share the trance segments. We'll have a short, this week we have a short meditation from Sylvia. I'll talk about some closing notes. Then we have a special prayer service called a novena. I'll describe that more when we get there. Then I encourage you to think about something to appreciate, and we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia.
Marvelous.
This week we have new candles, so we won't run out.
Beautiful.
And wherever you are,
I would have a camera, but I too often have a cat. That's right.
There you go.
Very curious. Yeah.
Hazardous.
Knocking things over.
There you go. If where you're at, you're welcome to light a candle too, to get that show the other side that you are there. Oh, let's see. I did that. Oh, some quick announcements. We do appreciate when you share, promote, like, subscribe, and click on the bell, depending on which format you're watching us on. Also, you can donate. And I just learned that, I don't know why I just learned it, but on the website, you can go and either donate with credit card or Venmo. So that's some convenience for some people.
Very nice.
Let's see. Also, don't miss out on Chris's questions, Chris Dufresne's question specials. You can sign up on his website, chrisrightnow.com, and you'll get notices when specials come along. Let's see. Next 2 episodes should be shorter because we're only going to do 2 segments each. However, the second should be short, and the second has a long meditation. So this is the beginning of a new trance session. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 segments. So this week we'll do 3. Next week's going to be 2. The next week's going to be 2, but it's going to have a long meditation. So following these series of meditations that helps everyone get improvement, spiritual advancement, and share what it's been doing for you as well. We
Marvelous.
Encourage that. let's see. And now's our fun segment where we ask, we share, and then we ask, how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy last week? All right, you get to choose, Kat. Who goes first?
Well, I'm going to say I would love to hear what you used of Novus philosophy. Also, I want to say hello to James from Tennessee. It's fantastic. I also see our listener from Thailand. It's wonderful to see you.
Wow.
And hello, Reverend Danny. Danny's here as well. It's fabulous to see you and everybody here today. It's fantastic. It's always wonderful. So with that, Reverend Tom, what did you
What
use?
did
Novus
I
philosophy.
use? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so a couple of things, and I'll do my best to keep them brief but make sense to somebody. Let's see. Oh, so a gentleman named Tony Romeo. I think it's Romeo, not Romeo. Maybe a researcher thinks he's found Amelia Earhart's lost plane. So I'm reading my notes here. This disappearance of Amelia Earhart's plane over the Pacific Ocean in 1937 is one of the world's endearing mysteries. Now a pilot and explorer says he believes he found the plane halfway between Hawaii Hawaii and Australia. That's how I look on a map. This is from NBC News. Emily Ikeda, I think I'm pronouncing that. She was reporting, which that area is near the Howland Island where she was supposed to stop to refuel and she never arrived. So that's interesting. I was looking that up on a map. That sits like you said, halfway between Australia and Hawaii is that little island hiding out there in the Pacific. I do recall Francine was talking about that she was captured by the Chinese, the way I understand it, was executed on the spot. So where that happened, we don't know. So that'll be interesting to hear more about what they find of this airplane. It's in like 16,000 feet of water or something like that. It's way down there. Anyway, that was courtesy of NBC News on YouTube. So that was a fun trivia update. Also, dream. Oh, so I had Francine's been asking us, have we had dreams or other things? How we've been affected by or helped by these recent meditations. So I've had a recent dream about being a genuinely caring realtor, helping people, where some people think, oh, they're just salesmen kind of thing. I'm like, no, this is a, caring person. Yet crouching and hiding on the other side of the room, I'm being demeaned and insulted and coerced by two men crouching close to me. And I was like, well, that's kind of okay. What's that? So there's two sides of things. To me, it sounds like there's still, I still have some challenging issues of what I think of myself. So those are things I need to review for myself and see that, change that view, as it were. Picture that as changed in a different fashion, that I see myself differently, and those two people are either gone or have a different demeanor about them. So that's going to give my mind something different to view and think about.
Absolutely, because you are wonderful. So
thank you.
Yeah.
And along those lines, I've been using the thing about putting the finger on your forehead and saying cancel that. Well, I've been using it so much I would think I'd have a mark on my third eye by now.
I love it.
That's not my truth. There's a long. I can't remember if we've heard it or we're going to hear it, but there's a longer. I want to say elaborate version of that for the Francine shares about using that. Darn it! Now I can't remember if it's Francine or Sylvia that said it, but somewhere I hope in the near future here it's going to be something we get to hear again, because it's something the fact of that's no longer my truth, and eject that tape, and I no longer something about accept Oh, and eliminate any negativity associated with it from now on. That was the fun part. So it's not just, eject that. It's like from now on, I think was an important point to add.
That's fantastic.
So those were my 3 bits.
Those are very, very good 3 bits. Wonderful. So what did I use of Noah's thought? So I've also been aiming to try to pay attention to my dreams because I've noticed that the themes have just been very, very different since we started doing these deep meditations. Just finally new themes. And I had one that I recalled, and I actually I was telling a friend about, where I just for reasons I don't like a whole rabbit hole of information, whatever. So I had been researching I'd been researching while I was awake, what is the social etiquette for going to a traditional Japanese hotel? Like, just to do some background information for something. And in it, I was like, oh wow, all of the rules were rules that I had seen I had seen come out in my dream. About 90% of the themes that had come up in this dream, even though it had been modernized in my dream, were exactly the same. I'd even gotten that people that like the speakers in my dream, the people in my dream were saying like, yeah, you can come like stay as a hotel guest and do all of these things, or as just like a local person, you can come and just participate in the baths for just the day. And that was apparently a thing. And I don't know, I know almost nothing about Japanese culture. And so I was reading through the rules, like the etiquette rules of this, and I was like, wait a second, I just dreamed about this. This is so interesting. And so I'm pondering that if it was maybe past life memory coming up and releasing, or just whatever, something in the ether. So that was just something that I noticed.
Or you researched from the other side and brought it back.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah. Yes. It was so interesting. Seeing the seeing the rules play out like that. So that was interesting. And then additionally, I have been going through a lot of the recent tools that we've been using and trying to apply that towards continuing to get long COVID under control and into an increasingly better place. If a couple years ago was a forest fire, the forest fire's out. If last year was a house fire, the house fire is out. And now we're just putting out, like, kind of rebuilding the kitchen is what it feels like, if I had to make an analogy. So so I'm applying tons of the things that we've been doing recently and I'm being aggressive about it, to do all the things across the board, not just one or two things. I'm trying to make sure protein is up. I'm eating lots of tofu and eggs and chicken. I am continuing to stay up on my green tea and fennel tea. I'm continuing to yell at my nervous system to not be inflamed, because that's what we were told. I'm also using the guardianship and inner counsel techniques to be specific about getting certain things into a rebuild and regenerate phrase. And I'm using some of the nutrition suggestions that we've talked about in the past too. And so things are continuing to trend in a positive direction. I'm very, very happy. And I want to just say to anyone listening, it is never too late to start working on your health and diet. It is never too late. It is never too late. You just start with one thing and just start changing things. You just start making changes. And after a while, it adds up and you can do it. You are worth it. Feeling malaise is no fun. And I believe in you. I believe in you. So that's what I want to say. If anyone is sitting there thinking about it, you could just start somewhere and just go. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. So that's what has been on my mind. Yes.
Be creative with it. what have people shared with us in chat?
Okay. Tangel says, I have not seen fennel tea. I'll have to look for that in the health food store. Yeah, I had to order it online. I also use, and this is something that people have to be a little bit more tricky about. I'm not saying this is an official recommendation. It was a choice that I made for myself. So I also use fennel essential oil just because of reasons that I personally felt were right for me. So just be careful with essential oils. You want to talk to somebody who knows what they're doing with that one. AC says, what was the purpose of the silver net? Is it to neutralize negative energy, and can you use it every day? Yes, you can use it every day. What we've been cautioned to, the one thing that we have been cautioned to do is not to use the silver light, like a blasting silver light every day. That's only for special emergencies. But the silver netting, envisioning your whole, your apartment, your house, your home, your workplaces, your car, kind of wrapped up in a beautiful silver net. We can use that all the time, and it just gets the other side says that they see like negativity kind of getting tangled into it and dissolving. So yes, you can use that every day.
One of the meditations from, I'm not sure who started it. It's either Sylvia or Francine, but the meditation is about you in space, and you're visualizing like a being surrounded by that silver netting, and it's tied at the bottom, so it's open at the top, and then you visualize the upside down pyramid crystal above your head. So a nice cleansing meditation. But that's a fun,
beautiful visuals.
Fun visual for surrounding what's around you and the people around you.
Also, I see Reverend Cass is here. Hello, Reverend Cass. It's wonderful to see you. Yes, amazing. Tangel says, I used philosophy today when I had to go to the dentist for 2 crowns and a filling. Asked Rahim and my guide Sandra to be on each side of me to help me through the pain, and there was no pain, I'm happy to report.
Nice.
That's marvelous. Okay, just giving one last look. All right, so that and Thomas says, I've also used the eject button several dozen times too. Just eject, it's great. All right, so that is, thank you everyone for your comments. We will continue to read them. Love the community that we have in the comments section. And we have one question here. What is the purpose of getting sick?
Ooh, the purpose? Well,
I can think of a variety of reasons.
Well, I'm going to let you start. What's your one reason?
Okay. So it's like problems in general. Some problems are charted, and some problems are just like pop-ups, not necessarily like it wasn't necessarily like your something that you planned for, but it just happened.
Yeah.
So I know that my experience of being sick with endometriosis was absolutely a charted experience, because I just for a variety of reasons that I've talked about in the past, but I learned lessons from that were invaluable. But if I wake up tomorrow with a cold, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I've got this cold. Let me try to minimize it as much as possible through the various ways, take care of diet and whatever, and programming, etc. But sometimes someone has a sickness so that someone else can learn from it, because there's people who have got caretaker themes or very strong humanitarian themes, who've got rescuer themes. And how are those people going to get experiences? How are doctors going to get experiences, healers, unless there were unless there were people to go through the other side of it. So it's like two sides of karma there. So there's a variety of different reasons that I can think of. And to which I say to all of it, I just wished it to be minimized as much as possible. Let me learn the lesson and move on. If there's a lesson to be learned, let me learn it and move on as quickly as possible with as much minimization as possible. So that's my thinking.
The other one I came to mind for me was, and it kind of goes along the lines of, if you're not paying attention to your body that telling you, hey, sit down and be quiet, your body will get sick and put you down, and so you will be quiet. It's along the along the lines of Sylvia. When she has a story of when she was in New York, she stubbed her toe and stubbed her toe, and it wasn't a big deal, but it got infected or something like that and put her out. She couldn't do what she needed to do. Well, what was the purpose? And I believe Francine replied to her saying, well, because you won't, it's forcing you to sit down because you're running too fast, you're walking too fast, doing too much. So sometimes, when we are doing too much or we're getting ourselves overstressed about something, our body's going to say, nope, sorry, sit down. And so something along those lines. Yes, there's big variances to that. If you're, there's variances of what could cause the illness, but it's basically if you're not paying attention to your physical body that you're overdoing, then it will underdo you. It will undo you and make you sit down.
Slow you down a little bit. Yeah. Okay, a couple more comments, and then we can move on to special prayers.
Yes.
All right. So, Carmita says, this week I gave permission to my guide to walk through me and cleanse me every day to just get that extra healing and release. That's wonderful. And Sharon over on Facebook says, love you. We love you too, honey. I'm glad that you're here. Okay. And with that,
special prayers. So for those of you that have put special prayers in the comments before, after, however, or if you have posted something because you wanted to keep it private, you can post on the website on the prayer chain. For those that have posted on the prayer chain on whenever you've been asking, let's all stop for a moment. We're going to have a moment of silence. We're going to ask. We're going to ask by visualizing what that outcome is, but we're also going to say for the greater good. So we're going to, while you've got that visualization, ask for Mother God, the archangels, archetypes, and the powers that have capabilities to help us out and help those that we're making that request for. So let's do a moment of silence. Amen.
Amen.
Let's see. What? Oh, so be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it.
Yes.
If you are streaming challenged, we have a phone call. You can call in and listen on a conference call while we are live on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. That number is 888-534-2696. And of course, we appreciate you keeping muted so that everybody has an enjoyable evening listening. Now we get to hear trance segments.
Marvelous. one person did put in into the comments, didn't Sylvia predict the brain microchip? Yes, she did. That is in her books that she talked about during this decade, microchips being put into the brain and some of the different uses for that. And that's been in the news now with Elon Musk and business Neuralink. So just wish them luck and healing in whatever direction that goes. So for our clips today, I am so fascinated and excited to talk about these. So Francine is talking about in May 5th, so Cinco de Mayo. She has a trance here in 1997. Dreams belong totally to you. How to start remembering dreams. Setting an alarm 2 times a night for a week in order to reprogram yourself from OCD, anxiety, and ADHD. ADHD, according to the other side, is misdiagnosed. A single focused mind is a stupid mind or a savant. Spiritual people will always score high on ADHD tests.
Okay. Cool. All right.
All right.
That's all that would fit in the description, so we have to trunigate, shorten it. All right, here we go. Enjoy.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Our doggy has been seeing you a while.
Yes. For those of you that are mystical travelers, I think they have settled on a
The
date.
date of June 9th.
June 9th. So anybody that, just mystical travelers, it will be potluck, and I will also be here in attendance, as will Raheem. So both of us will be here June 9th. It's on a
June 9th is a Monday, I believe. 7:30 p.m. Bring food.
So I will be here, and Raheem will be here. I haven't seen you for some time in your time. And I hope that all of you are getting some real releases during dream time and through your time of going through some of these past morphic resonances. And I hope some of you are releasing some of these problems. Is there anything that you would like to ask me? Yes.
I had a dream the other night with lots of clues in it, and I finally sat down last night and wrote it all out. I said, this is interesting. There's a lot of fun information, but I didn't, at the moment when I wrote it and finished writing it down, didn't have a nice conclusion. Have I come to the right conclusion about it? And because some of the details, particularly a particular person involved, I couldn't understand how that related to, Linda was one of the other individuals in there, how that related to the scenario, or was it just the symbolism of what was in there?
Symbolism of your progression towards what you are elevating yourself to in your own spirituality and your ministry.
So that was for me?
For you, not for her. Everything in your dream is for you. See, there is nothing in your dream that is any more personally you. I mean, there's nothing anywhere in life, even your reality here in the waking state, is not for you. Your dream belongs totally to you. Everything in your dream is you. Linda is you. You are you. The car is you. The horse is you. The key is you. Everything in your dream is you. It's the only one thing that the soul has total occupancy of and total ownership of is your dreams. Yes.
I'm not getting anything, and I know I'm gone. I wake up and sometimes I'm just exhausted.
No, you're out. So you've got to, no, I've seen you out. So you have got to make sure you stay in and still be able to scan records. No, you're just totally jumping out. But if you want to go out, then at least say, I'm going to go out and I'm going to remember going out and where I've been. Because we've seen you in records, we've seen you all over the terraces, walking and everything, but it's a shame if you don't bring it back with you. Well, you are bringing it back, you're just not bringing it back with memory. but you're out too much, and that's what's exhausting you. A lot of you that are being exhausted are going out too much.
So I can tell myself to
Stay in. Say stay in. I've got to stay in tonight. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I don't think I'm getting anything either. Is that the thing? Out also?
Yeah, you're out. Totally out. I mean, just jumping out of your body and running away to our side.
During the day.
I think those of you that are elevating yourself spiritually also are so aggravated with life that it's the least provocation you'll jump out, and I don't blame you for that. But the only thing I would find to be truly beneficial for you is to remember it. I think even if you don't remember it, what you're going to do is, even though you may be tired, you're going to find that you're less neurotic, that you're less frightened, that you're less paranoid about things. So it's sort of like the doctor who gives you a shot. You don't know what's in it, you just know it's gotten you over something. You don't have to know what the serum is to know that it's activating or helping you with something. Yes?
Francine, in the near future, I'm going to be giving a class on dream and dream analysis, and I'm going over all of Sylvia's notes in the previous classes and everything. But there's two things that are bothering me, answering and addressing the question that people come up with. Well, I never dream, or I never remember my dream. How's the best way for me to approach those?
Same way, and actually having the person program themselves at the height of their dream that they will wake up and have a book next to their bed and just write down a few words. Because you ever notice that so many of you in the middle of the night will get up to go to the restroom or wherever you, and you'll remember your dream, and then as soon as you do, it flits like smoke out of. See, that's why some of these sleep clinics, which I would eventually like to do too here as alternative healing, and there's a lot of reversal you can do in your dreams by setting your alarm. Say, for instance, you're having anxieties and night terrors, and we're going to talk about that at some extent tonight. It's setting your alarm, and people say, oh, I can't do that, I can't go back to sleep. Better you don't go back to sleep than to cure yourself once and for all. One of the things that's so amazing about curing people, even with dyslexia and ADD or ADHD, or even compulsory, is to set an alarm twice a night for a week. Let's say at 2 and at 4. And set the alarm, and at that point, beginning to program and then letting yourself go back to sleep. And if you don't, if you're up for a while, it doesn't matter. But really programming yourself, for instance, to, let's say you're having nightmares or night terrors, or you're having day terrors, is say, I have awakened now at 2. Let's say the first alarm has been set for 2. And I will go back to sleep, and I will dream out whatever the problem is that I cannot solve with my day terrors or my day anxieties or my day's non-focusing. Because you see, there's two forms of, and I really resent these ADDs and all this other stuff, all this attention deficit disorder. In fact, what they're misdiagnosing is there's too much attention paid to it. There's too much focusing on that. You see, you're going to find out, every one of you that were to take a test because of your spiritual involvement, you're going to be working on all levels of your mind. So if you were to take a regular test, you probably would all come out according to that norm as ADD, HD, or whatever, because you're not working on a single focused mind. Is a stupid mind. You're not single focused. Think right now about how many times you're sitting here, and even though you're listening to me, your mind will go somewhere else. This is because you're not, it isn't because you're being mean or not listening, but every word that I say or everything, you might do a reference. Or your mind, you can't keep your mind totally focused. If you are, then you are a savant. So everyone who's spiritual is working off of this, multifaceted. Yes.
Well, speaking along those lines, it seems to me that as we're releasing these overlays now, and I'm not getting a lot in the dream state, but it seems like as we release these overlays that have held us back, you've actually mapped out all of cell memory in the previous journeys. It's all right there. actually, and I started to notice the levels of the soul and how it relates exactly to some
In the schematics.
And it's so funny that it becomes so clear that it was actually all there, but we couldn't see it before.
That's right.
You know, and it's just
It's like when I was telling you about the mystical traveler, remember what I said? Now all the things, a lot of the unanswered questions that you didn't have answered before came together in fruition of the mystical traveler.
Yeah, it's really strange that it's going both ways.
Oh,
The
yes.
new physics as well as
Absolutely.
everything.
And the practicum. See the theory in the practicum too.
Where's the buttons? So yes, I'm promoting dream analysis. If you're curious more, you can go to our website and learn more about dream analysis and how to sign yourself up. Yes, I have been officiated to help people with that. And along those lines, I really like Francine talking about the ADD, ADHD. I recall it's also about how mentally disciplined you are. It's not that you want to be single-mindedly focused, but if you are not so mentally disciplined, then yeah, you're like, all kinds of thoughts come by. You've got nattering going on in the back of your mind, which, we've shared tools on how to help quiet your mind down so you're not going off, your back of your mind's not like, going all over the place, anxious and nervous. And that in that, when that part quiets down, guess what? That part of your mind gets to help process ideas, process information, help you. That's a lot of times where infusion comes from. When that part of our mind that is filled up with nattering, that's where the infusion can come from. Our psychic ability draws information from there. And even for myself, in some meditations, yes, my mind wanders too. It's like sometimes, and that's normal. You're on a guided meditation and they're telling you, we're going to look at this, visualize that. And your mind's like, yeah, but what about yesterday's groceries? And, oh, by the way, my son's having a hard time. How could I help him with that? Yes, it does happen. And if it's something important, great, you follow with it. Your mind still gets that relaxation and release.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've read some fascinating papers by Harvard professors, like doctors at the Harvard School of Medicine, talking about how ADHD as a diagnosis was very, like the research that went into saying hey, is this a thing? Basically what happened was that the brain people didn't consult with all of the psychiatrists who had existed beforehand, who were experts in mood and knowing that mood sometimes has inattention problems to it. So if someone is moody, it's hard to pay attention. Or if someone is manic, they've got bipolar disorder that starts like getting in, or they've been exposed to trauma, then yeah, it's like they have a hard time paying attention. But the brain people said, I wonder if there's like this thing with inattention. They didn't consult with the existing experts, with the existing field, to ask them hey, maybe are we like crossing paths accidentally? And so there's Harvard doctors that do align with what we've heard in these discussions with regards to ADHD. I think it's really interesting. And another argument that I've heard too is that why, and I frankly resent this as a human being, this idea where someone came along and decided what a child's temperament is supposed to be. So if a child doesn't like sitting down during math class, we're going to pathologize that child because it's boring to them and say oh, they should be able to sit down and focus. Who says who? Where is it written in human history that this is the way children have always been? on all of a sudden, there's like somebody came along somewhere and said like, oh, this child doesn't, has a hard time sitting down. That must mean they, there's something wrong with them. Says who? Maybe this child does better with hands-on learning.
Right.
And there are people that are like that. There are people who are like that across the board, where they're just like, I just have a hard time. Like, I need to be doing something with my hands in order for me to learn it.
Right.
Or like, why do I care? I don't like, the child needs
right.
As
Why
adults
should
need
I
a why.
care?
Right.
That's
The same as
one.
adults need a why for why we're doing something.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I care? I'm like, the same with the child. Maybe child's like, why do I care?
And the teachers
Apologize
that get
them?
more
It's not.
information across have learned to make it interesting. Present it in a fashion that's interesting to the students.
Absolutely.
To say, okay, here's a fun thing to think about, and then they're paying attention and focused on what they're learning. Of course, there's lots of things that can go through their mind, and that's exercising their brain and their emotion. And oh, by the way, they're also learning the concept.
Yes. And I see some people in the comments talking about their own frustrations with this. And it was, for instance, a lot of kids with this label have to go to the nurse every day because of medication every day. Like, the thing is too, is that there have been medical studies that show that if you give that ADHD medicine to anybody, they do have a change of focus. They do report feeling more focused. So, and yet at the same time, this is the same, like, there's the same idea of saying like, well, if the medication works on me, then I have to have ADHD, right? Well, not if it works on literally everybody.
Yeah.
It's not proof.
It's almost like a prefrontal cortex stimulant to say
it is. That's exactly what it is.
If your emotions aren't helping you engage, it's like this is forcing you to do it, which also can overstimulate. Anyway, we may be
We're
preaching
not
to the choir, so
we may be preaching to the choir. It's
Yeah.
true. Oh my goodness gracious! I will be on a high horse if I get too much into this. All right. Anyway, I hope everyone finds this informative. I really, really appreciate that Francine pointed out, saying that the people who have like perfect attention, they're either savants or they're not smart.
yeah.
People, like, a stupid mind has like this really good attention. So it's okay to be, like, if you notice that as you listen to something that you are doing like references and being like, oh yeah, this applies to my mind in the following ways. That's actually how we learn, and they talk about this in teaching too, is by association. It's like, okay, you get people to ask, like, how does this information relate to your own life? And so if you're noticing that this is a natural part of how you're doing, you don't need to worry that that's ADHD. That's normal. It's normal part of learning, saying like, oh yeah, how does this relate to something that I heard before? Do I agree? Do I disagree? Okay. So that's normal. It's absolutely normal. That's how learning works.
Any other comments, or are we
Yes.
ready for another?
Some folks are asking, is there a newsletter from Novus?
Yeah, I get it every week. No, I'm just kidding. Well, they're supposed to be. Sorry, I guess I have to qualify that. No, there's not a newsletter from Novus that's putting out. Yes, we are working on something of that nature. There is a newsletter for study groups that is related and specific to study group members. So if you would like to get a newsletter sooner than later, go start a study group and sign up. Sorry, being half facetious with that. But yes, we are working on creating a Novus newsletter to send out on a fun thing would be is post in the comments, or sometime we might put out a questionnaire. How often would you like to see something like that? Weekly, daily, monthly, yearly? How often would you like to see something, a newsletter?
Quarterly,
Yeah, from Novus. That'd be fun to learn.
That would be very fun to learn. Yes.
Let's see. What was the other part? Anyway, yeah, that's in the works. It'll be something like now. Would you also like to get text messages too of um, famous favorite phrases? No, I said it wrong again. Favorite famous phrases. Would you like to get a text message on a weekly or semi-weekly?
Some golden nuggets of wisdom.
There you
Yes.
go. That's what you're seeing in the ticker tape down below is the many ones that we've collected over time. Fun things for people to think about and keeping us uplifted over time.
Okay. We've got some positives, like some folks saying yes, or like weekly newsletters. That's so ambitious. Yes to text messages, please, weekly or daily. Oh, okay. This
Cool.
is cool.
All right.
Cool.
Well,
Very cool. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
Oh.
I do have one of the ministers are getting themselves ramped up to be able to do that, educating themselves
Cool.
to create that. So.
Very cool. Then Ramona says, Kat, who can participate in the prayer chain? Anyone can send a prayer to the prayer chain. But maybe, Tom, you can comment on what goes on the receiving end of the prayer chain.
So it's petitions have been something that are supposed to be private. And similarly to in-person Sunday services, people would write on a paper, fold it up, and they would be collected. After services, a minister would take those and either burn them if they're safe or shred them up and put that into a flower garden. And that's supposed to, that's symbolic of releasing that energy out to the universe. You can do petitions anytime you want. The prayer chain on the website is something similar to that. You can post, post whatever that your concern is or your want or desire on that on the website, and so that's what we want to think about when we're doing special prayers. We're putting that energy out for those, in addition to the other sources of prayers from people.
Fantastic. Thank you. Hope that helps. We've got Carmita, yes to both monthly newsletters and text messages weekly. Got a few agreements with that. Someone says a list, emails and texts. We've got yes to newsletters. Would love text messages. Favorite phrases for the week. So it sounds like we've got kind of a consensus around like a weekly text message. That's cool.
All right.
I like it. Aaron asks, has Chris fixed his laptop yet? We weren't able to hear his readings, ? Oh no.
Oh, all right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know I've seen him on YouTube Shorts, as well as he's been doing YouTube Live. I haven't followed on Instagram. Well, occasionally I see Instagram posts, but I haven't followed him on any of the other live streams that he's been doing. So, good question.
Good question. I guess we'll find out. I'm sure he'll get it fixed promptly. So, all right. Shall we move on to second segment? And there's good stuff in here. There's good stuff. I can't wait to talk about.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So, crankiness is another means of attack. You do not have to put up with nastiness because it reduces your dignity. You can say, I do not choose to participate in this. And love does have ethics. So we're going to hear about some thoughts about Deepak Chopra saying that you can do all sorts of crazy stuff with regards to love. And Francine's going to say, something different. So here we go.
All right. Take notes.
Yes.
I feel that since I've been inducted as a mystical traveler, I've been watched over a lot more. And about 2 days ago, I experienced,
I was able to experience a lesson without paying for it,
Yes.
and which was a blessing, a big blessing. And my question was to you is, there was a time period where someone stepped in. Is that what happened? Okay.
Another mystical traveler will step in. It doesn't occupy your body, but it can really take over what we call the freezing of the mind, and the mystical traveler will automate you for a moment.
Because it was something that that we don't have to get into, but it was something that...
Well, no, we don't have to get into it. I know what you're speaking of, though.
Yeah. And it was... I learned the lesson, and without paying the price. Which
That's
was
right.
An incredible experience.
Oh, yes.
Because usually in the past...
You have to pay the price.
You pay the price and you pay it heavy.
No more. But you see, what makes you so spiritually conscious is you knew that you had done something and didn't have to pay the price and were grateful for it.
I was grateful.
See, most people who say, oh boy, weren't I lucky, and next time I'll try again.
No.
See, that's not your MO.
I wasn't lucky, I was blessed.
Blessed. That's right. See, that's the difference between the verbiage of a spiritually evolved soul rather than a soul that is unevolved. Yes.
For the help.
Oh, absolutely, always. Some of you have been noticing, I'm sure, that there is a terrible, terrible, I don't know how to put this. Sylvia has a word called crankiness. I don't know what this word really means, except she described it to me of being short-tempered. And unfortunately, it seems to have bitten everybody according to their loved ones or people closest to them. This is another means of attack. And if you're not the brunt of it, you may be the perpetrator. See, do not think just because you're a mystical traveler that you still can't be manipulated by not the dark side, but the dire woes of this world. And I think the most tragic thing of what we do is start being so cruel and mean and jealous and spiteful to the person that is nearest and dearest to us. Such spiteful things as resenting someone's children, or spiteful things about being hateful and cruel to the other partner because of your jealousy or your feelings that you need to be so in control of that person. That's not love. That's not love. That's manipulation. And that also is a payment for spirituality. Just because sometimes people advance to a spiritual level, they feel that they should be revered on that level. No, you don't need to be revered. The only person that needs to revere you is yourself and the God within you. That's all. But this mean, spiteful, hateful, jealous, carping, nagging attitude that seems to be going around, and you very well may be the brunt of that. But I tell you now, as our Lord says, I don't care whether it's a spouse or a mystical traveler or who it may be, you have no obligation to put up with it. I don't care how stressed the person may be, how tired they may be, how in jeopardy they may be. You don't need to have the right to put up with it. Please do not. Because, you see, that reduces the dignity of your soul, if you do. You don't have to get into a confrontation, but just say, I do not choose to participate in this carping, nagging, hateful, yes. And the more evolved you get, you see, sometimes the more undermining it becomes. Because people can be victims of their own stress factors and have not learned to keep their and I'm the last one to ever tell you to keep your mouth shut, because I've always believed in ventilation, and that's why we started the whole purgation. But this cruelty and this, you see, if love doesn't mean letting go and allowing that whatever the person loves, you love it with them, it isn't love. It isn't love. Possession is never love. It can never be. Whatever Corinne loves, I love also, because I love her. That's the way it should be. And never be spiteful to the point that, let's say, if Corinne loves so and so and so and so and so and so, that I'm mad at Corinne for loving so and so and so and so and so and so. What I've always been very careful of is for you to be led astray by someone else. And I was very right, and not to be mean to Deepak, but he has now instigated everyone to have free love, because that is supposed to be the only way to release your kundalini to get spiritual awareness. That is an ethical, moral issue now. When people are bound together, they do not have free love. There is no such a thing as that. Love comes by a very high price. And it is a very sacred price to pay for love. So by him saying that everyone should give vent to their feelings of sexuality with anyone and everyone, it's a very, very wrong thing. And anyone, whether you never come here again or wherever you go, anyone that ever preaches that to you is against everything that is the belief in the ethical or moral world. No.
Yeah, they're mired in the physical world.
Yes.
We're trying to get into the spirit.
But every appetite, he says, that you have, you must indulge in. Yes.
Is that his true belief, or did he just he do that to get people to to talk to him and to follow him? Is that his true belief?
Either way, it probably isn't. But because of the commercialization of what has happened, he probably has geared his teachings to whatever he thought would go to the masses. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's what we call cashing in. You can't keep your moral fiber intact, regardless if you only have 2 people follow you. It's better, or none. Or none. Because I relate you to our Lord. At the beginning, he had a great many following, and as soon as he didn't go along with the masses, or the masses turned, he was all alone then. Of course, later, he began to amass his following that went to the hills, not because they didn't want to defend him, it's because they didn't want to all be slaughtered, because then there would be nobody to spare the word or pass the word out. And he actually told his people, go back to Qumran so they won't hurt you. But he stood alone in his ethics and morals. So this free love business, and every appetite that you want to explore it, is a very wrong thing. And what it is given rise to is what has happened culturally to our world. If you want to shoot somebody, do it. If you're angry, smack somebody. If you want to, if you want to take something that belongs to somebody else, do it. This is what's happening in the world of gangs. At the last count, Sylvia's friend told her that there was 245,000 gangs in the United States alone. 245,000. That is not counting the census of each gang. This is just the heads of the gangs. 240,000 gangs you have in your world. And why you have this beginning to be almost a frightening invasion, it's because we have people running around teaching no morals and no and there's no one to give any, not discipline, but anyone to tack up the lessons that's been with us so long, that mankind is above the animal kingdom. In fact, animals don't even act like mankind or womankind.
Yeah.
An interesting point of that, the gangs being like surrogate parenting for those that are seeking. They're trying to remember that, hey, we're above, or I should say, using the excuse that we're above the animals, that we're better than they are. Well, it's even been shown in animal studies that when you kill off the adult male elephants, the younger elephants cause a lot of havoc, because there's no one there to tell them, hey, don't do that. They go on, the younger adults go on rampages and destroy things, so which makes farmers and so on upset, But hey, that's was the discovery was that there's no parent there to tell them don't do that kind of thing. So interesting how they've observed to learn and have their social rules within their group.
Yeah. It's just it almost makes me speechless just thinking about how many just that the sheer number of gangs, because that's not something I've ever sat down to think about.
Yeah.
And I was just looking online to see kind of what the FBI statistics are, and they have I'm sure they have like their own metrics. But yeah, it's just this rampant tribalism of, and then it reminds me of something that we've heard in the past, saying, someone asked like, hey, if you are like, let's say a person is born and they are kind of, maybe they're more advanced in their spiritual ways, but they don't have anyone there to, as kind of like a guided mentor, like a mentor figure. Like, how long does it take them to sort of put it together, like start putting things together? And the answer we heard is like, it takes about 20 years. It takes about 20 years. And if you think about talks that you might have heard, that's Floofy in the background, he's fine. Talks that we've heard of people saying like, yeah, I was a lost young man, I was a lost young woman, I ended up in this gang situation, and I didn't I just didn't have anyone there to guide me. It's the exact same thing, and it's yet another reminder of why it's so important not to judge people, even if you see them doing behaviors that are very shocking and morally not morally questionable. We can't judge the person. We don't know what their story is. We just don't know what their story is. But my, oh my, what a nice call. Like, it's just kind of like a nice call to action. Like, if you have a young person in your life, like being able to treasure opportunities to give them guidance and give them love and ideas and listen. And so, yeah, it's just some of my reactions from that, because that was a shocking number.
Yeah. And that's the benefits of organizations like Big Brother and Big Sister.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's Floofy on one side of the door and Java's on the other, so they're having a conversation.
Anybody got comments?
Yeah. Dorothy says, a lot to absorb in this recording. I will definitely listen to this again. Hello, Floofy. Garden says, is laughing, cat to lighten things up always makes me smile. He's great. Alyssa says, Floofy has a message.
Oh, yeah. Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
I also wanted to comment on Crankiness.
You too?
Yes. Yes. I had she said, just because you might consider yourself spiritually advanced does not mean that you are immune from perpetrating negativity or having some negativity kind of catch you up a little bit from the woes of the world. Like, don't think that you're immune from that. And like, I've talked about this before. Like, Chris Dufresne called me out years ago saying like, do you have any idea how tough you are to be around and how cranky you are when your blood sugar is messed up? And I was like, I hadn't even thought of it. I had not even considered it.
Have you recently experienced that?
Have I recently experienced myself being cranky?
Yeah.
I really, really catch myself in the moment. If I notice beforehand that I'm starting to get irritated by little things, I know that I need to get myself into gear and figure out what's going on in the moment. So irritation, I understand, is going to be a normal thing. It would be cancer to not be irritated by at least some things in life. There's some people that I'm always going to be irritated by, whatever. But to be cranky, spiteful, jealous, some of these things that she's talking about, like jealousy, I am extreme. Like I've felt jealousy a couple times in my life, but it is now something that I am. Like if I see it like popping up kind of externally, like maybe a third party being jealous, like this is something that these are things that I really, really keep an eye out for to problem solve. So even if crankiness isn't necessarily coming from me, but if I see it in some sort of relationship outside, or if a friend is struggling with a family member, or whatever, like those are still things that I try to be mindful of, to think to how can I help problem solve this situation, and promote this idea that you do not have to put up with a cranky person, because I loved what she just said there. It reduces the dignity of your soul to just be like, I'm just going to sit here and take this. No, you don't. And I loved what she said. She said, like, I do not choose to participate in this nagging right now.
Yeah.
Leaving. That's fine.
Well, I wanted to raise my hand and say, have you experienced? And I'm like, yeah, recently in the last several days, it's like I come across situations and I don't even think about it. I get frustrated and cross about something, and then I stop and I'm like, this isn't normal. This isn't. Something's wrong here. Yes, things have triggered them, but it's how do you say, unusual and elevated energy of being cranky. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't think of it as an attack. I was like, oh, this isn't normal. I have to shift my mental point of view about things. So this is fun that it's reminding us that we're also still subject to attack.
Yes, we are. And I think something that one way that he's just like chasing something in the corner. He's fine. One thing that I try to be mindful of is something I tell clients in therapy is like anger. When we feel it is a source of information that there's something going on with a boundary in life. And that's what I try to apply to myself too. If I notice myself having a flash of anger, I just stop to pause and start going through, like working through, like, okay, is this anger justified? Or is it a moment where I'm feeling prideful and I wanted something to go my way, but I don't need to actually be worried about it. So there's some sort of information there. It could be something that for me to work on, or something that I should be communicating so that we can work on it together. So it can be personal, or it can be like in the moment between two people or an organization. So that's what I try to bring it back to. Is like, if I notice myself being actually angry, or if I notice I'm being irritable, I'll ask myself, bring it back. Wait a second. Is there something is there a boundary thing going on here?
You're catching yourself to say, hey, wait a minute.
It's a moment of learning.
A helpful alert that says, peek, peek, peek. Something's going off. So fun. Any other comments, or we want to go to the last?
Yeah. So I've got someone says, yes, true. I pray these people turn their lives around. Amen to that. Gardens shares, a long time ago, Francine said, let the upset of another go through you like a sieve, and just let it go and not affect you. And I wish I remember what show that was. Oh, that's a beautiful saying. I do remember which one you're talking about there. Those words, to just let it go through you like a sieve. I am a sieve. I am not a sponge. I am a sieve. Tangel says, I'm going to have to watch that because I get annoyed with some coworkers that act like lazy children. Yeah, and it might be the anger that you're feeling might be a moment of justifiable anger, or it's information. So it's where I try to bring it back to. I'm like, okay, this is a source of information. What's going on here, and how do I want to respond? I think crankiness is a moment of reacting instead of responding. You're just instantly like popping off and saying something that's not helpful. But to intentionally respond like an adult, respond in a way that's going to promote some sort of growth or spirituality or whatever. That's what I try to bring it back to for me. Alicia, hello. I think this is a newer listener. I haven't seen your comment before, I think. Alicia, hello. I'm grateful for this broadcast tonight. It's comforting hearing familiar voices every week. Oh, that's really, really sweet. I didn't realize
I hope that's ours.
on this.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Send you a big heart.
I'm facetiously trying to take credit for, Francine and Raheem.
It's terribly sweet. And she continues, I'm going through a storm, and I know God doesn't give us more than we can handle. But you are a comfort, as if you were waiting for me after the pressure of a long day today. Oh, I just have heartfelt love going your way, and solidarity, and I'm glad that we're here in community together. Absolutely. Hi, Mercedes. Mercedes is here. So, friend in Los Angeles.
Fun.
Girl, we need to get together. Yvonne asks, what can you do when people can't take no for an answer, especially regarding sexual harassment? Ooh, boy, that's a whole thing to problem solve. Ooh, boy.
When they can't take no for an answer, you've got to keep...
That's a call to the police. That's a call to HR. That's a call to a boss. That's a call of document everything. That's a call to an employment lawyer. There's a lot of options. Do not feel trapped. But if there's ever anything like employment related, you can always talk to an employment lawyer. Is the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, you stand up and
absolutely. Read two more comments. Jackie says, thank you, Kat. Tonight, this program has resonated to the very core of my soul. I love you both, and I love this program. Thank you. You're welcome. We love you too, Jackie. So glad that you're here. And the last comment they'll read is Jorge says, this country has a gang mentality with the political agendas as well. And it's very frustrating. The tribalism is very strong in America. Tribalism. It's like everyone gets in their own camp, and I'm just like, we're in God's camp though. Like, that's a very, very big camp. It's very, very big camp. Just wish people well. Wish people remember that we're humanity together. And because you remember when 9/11 happened, nobody, like, all tribalism stopped. We were all just supporting one another.
Yeah.
And that was that. That's
anyway.
So,
that poses the question of so the cataclysm was put off, and something else had was put in its place and helped us make the shift that the original cataclysm was supposed to create. Now that we have more, it's almost like the pandemic exacerbated, irritated everybody, or many people, and how yes, we're doing what we can as far as Novus to help people, feel more comforting and comfortable and willingness to work with others. Yet it almost sounds like the pandemic has helped kind of agitate and segregate individuals. So it's interesting on one side, but scary on another. Okay, what's the next event that's going to what is the next event that may help us pull us together again, if there's something that's going to happen? I don't know. Maybe it's
Yeah, Sylvia did
each
say
their own.
that she saw that the financial system in America was going to collapse and everyone was going to lose their life savings in their 401ks. And she said that was going to happen around 2026. No idea if it's don't know.
Yeah.
But if you have to band together after, oh man, I just pray for smooth
Right.
smooth-
That's
smooth-
yeah. And along
smooth-
those lines,
smooth paths forward.
right. Ask for your guidance to have you put in the right place at the right time and learn things that that might help you create a smooth transition, whatever that's going to be.
Amen to that. Shall we transition
next?
to our third segment? Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So we've got more about sleep programming. And mystical traveler spirits can superimpose to help you in an emergency. Mistruths give you an instant warning in your chest. And you can ask for children. You can ask for children with certain traits if it lines up with you. And then clarifications on programming to modify certain situations in your life.
Cool. All right.
All right.
More knowledge.
Yes.
I'm sorry. My mind was wandering when you were talking about programming. What specifically should we do to program? Let's say, for instance, you said it.
2 o'clock.
Okay.
You mean 2 o'clock? Yes. I really want to get rid of my phobias. I want them to be released between 2 and 4. I want to get an insight into why, whether it's past life or, like Roger said, the behavioral overlays. Then set your alarm again for 4 o'clock. I don't care if you're tired the next day. You're tired because you're out all the time anyway. Doesn't matter. But it's so much better if you were doing a sleep apnea. Then they would wake you up and put you back to sleep. But this way you're programming. And the thing that you fear the most that could be chasing you in your dreams, you will find is you.
Right. Now, can we call on help?
Oh, absolutely. It's very much like he just said. Kirk just said that a mystical traveler will come in. You've always heard the story about a 100-pound woman who lifted the car off her son.
Yeah.
That wasn't all her.
Okay, there was
See, the one thing about a mystical traveler is they don't take possession, but they can superimpose over you. Yes, they're not walk-ins, but they can really drop the veil. And there could be 3 or 4 of them that superimpose themselves, and with great strength.
Francine, another question I have, there's a lot of information that I think comes to us, not only, sleep state, but also wake state. And it's almost when you're reading something, you're thinking about something, you know it's the truth, it just kind of hits you.
Hits, yes, even stronger than it did before.
And I'm finding that there's a lot of things that I'm finding.
Absolutely, it's called, you see, now you're really, really clamping in to what Roger said, the cell memory and the gnosis. Now, see what you're hitting is, you see that word gnosis kind of hung there in the air. Now it's beginning to be a reality. Gnosis becomes part of you. I'm seeking, and you'll be able to discern truth. If it's not a truth, you will immediately get a warning. If it's truth, you immediately, like you say, like you hit your chest, it goes in and sinks and something resonates.
And it's funny how all this information comes to you. Friday, one of the girls was leaving. I says, go have fun in the sun, but don't get too much sun. And she didn't listen to me. She came back and she sunburned. And I had just said, Friday, maybe next time she'll listen.
That's right. And you'll find that you're more of a messenger than you've ever been. You will be giving warnings, help, aid, and then you'll be, because you see, that is a psychic sense. Don't ever think that it isn't. Don't walk yourself away from that. Because that is a psychic sense that you'll find this infusing everywhere. And you say, well, maybe I didn't see her burn. But you were getting a message that said, watch out.
Right. So don't second guess yourself.
Never second guess yourself. Because tonight what we're going to do is really elevate that ability to work off that first impression to become more psychic. And those of you that feel like you're doing nothing, no, like I said, the proof will be in how you're reacting to everyday's loving, doing, feeling, infusing. Don't expect perfection from yourself. You're not going to get it. Another thing is, like Sylvia said, the worst one of the worst things that has ever been given to womankind or mankind is a Cinderella story, or the fact that you will find peace in this life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible. Peace is only for the other side. Yes, Gail.
Francine, as far as programming, I know that we're supposed to be as specific as possible, but in a certain situation where if we just want a just and fair outcome, and I'm not sure what the specifics would be. I mean, I know what I would like them to be, but I'm not so sure that it's, if my motivation is pure.
All right, let's say hypothetically you want a child.
Okay,
Hypothetically. And your motivation is to have a child because you want to reproduce. And because you want to have a perfect child, and you want it to be a love child. And you want it to be a love child. And you want to be a mother. That's not selfish. Do you see what I'm saying? If that was the case, but womankind should be more selfish, because in the selfishness of that act of loving and giving love and being loved and making love and giving vent to that love by procreating, that is very unselfish.
Now, to further that hypothetical, could she also program that the child will have a theme of wealth and spirituality? Absolutely.
Because you see, the thing about it is that they could line up. So you can do the call both ways. That somebody who would like to be that can also line up, but if they didn't want to, they won't. You can't. But you could very well get an entity, let's say, with a theme of spirituality. Wonderful. And then a theme of humanitarian or rescuer. Humanitarian's better. And you'd be surprised at the entities that would line up and say, I'll take it. You can also program for beautiful blue eyes or, curly hair, and because an entity will line up. So you're not molding some little clay ball over there, because there's entities over there that can come in to look exactly like that. See, the more we know about what we can do, the better we're going to be. Because you're not going to make anybody, as Sylvia's always said, do anything they don't want to do. So the entity that could be standing there who says, whoops, I don't want to be that. Then the other entity standing to the right or left of you said, I do, I want to be your child. Yes. Jean, did you have your hand up?
In regards to the people being out, you said they're very tired because they're out of their body a lot. But when they're out of their body, there's no dreaming going on in the body, is there?
No.
That's why a lot of people wake up and say, well, I don't have any dreams.
That's right.
Because they are out, and when they come back, they're tired.
That's right.
The entity has to be in the body to do the dreaming.
To do the dreaming.
It's a brain function.
Yes.
Yeah. Gail's question about programming, of course, I can think of something. And I've heard about when you, when people have a certain expectation that they never really reach, but they're always hoping for. So it almost sounds like an obsessed idea, sort of. But then, how do you know if it's something that you should program for? You
can program for everything. If you're not meant to have it, you won't have it.
Right.
But it certainly doesn't hurt to program, because you see, what you might do is take the edges off of something. You remember what we've always said, you can't change, but you can certainly modify. And who's to say, you see, especially in this, because this is when the operative time, let's say hypothetically, that there is an entity writing their chart now and could be ready to come into Gail's body. And so both of you together would be doing no more than counsel would be doing. You'd say, come on, little one, and come in, and I'm ready for you, and let's, both of you and I together, let's make a mark. In other words, let you be beautiful and happy and healthy and spiritual. Yes. You would be doing no more than counsel would be doing.
I've also heard that, if you hold on to an idea too tightly, then it never comes to you. But if you're programming for it, is that holding on too tightly?
No.
Okay.
No, what happens in there, and you're very right about this, it's a very fine line between that, because you will see, and women, I have to say, are the most guilty of this. And it goes something like this. I want a man in my life, I want a man in my life. I have to have a man in my life, and I need a man in my life, and I want a man in my life. And I want him to be tall, dark, and handsome, or tall, light, and whatever it might be. But they're so busy programming, they never go anywhere. Now that's wrong. But you can certainly program and write letters to the universe that you want him to have these and these and this attributes. Absolutely.
Tall, dark, and handsome. Hold on. There you go. That works better. Nope.
We were both just spam pushing it at the same time.
So yeah, program tall, dark, and handsome, and that's fun. I hadn't thought about until this, or that you can program about the child that you would like to line up with, and what can be changed. And I like Francine talking about how maybe one is choosing, and then at the last minute decides, no, I don't want to be that baby. You've got one on either side of them that is ready and eager to take their place. An example is our first child that we had. It was supposed to be male. I mean, we had the scans.
I heard the trance on it. Yeah.
Yeah, scanned as a male, but when the birth happened, wait a minute, this is a female. What happened? And Francine later shared that, the entity that was supposed to be our son stepped out for a second, and our daughter jumped in, jumped in and didn't get out. So it's called, hey, use it or lose it kind of thing. So.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, fun.
I didn't like listening to this. I didn't it's kind of. I think my preconception of how births and like babies happen is like it's all very, 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 very predetermined. But now I'm finally realizing it's not so predetermined as I was thinking, because it sounds like it's pretty flexible what kind of babu you might end up getting.
Well,
just depending, which is interesting.
You've got to get the charts to line up and help each other with their lessons. The other silly story I have was when my two older brothers, when they were born, they were blonde, blue eyes, very similar. And when I came along, I had black hair. And now, I still don't know if this was a joke or if my dad literally thought that my mom had an affair. But he's like, that's the way I hear it is, my dad thought I wasn't his. And but what gave it away were my toes.
Oh, really?
Because I had the same webbed toes that he had.
Oh, interesting.
And that's the only way he realized, that is my kid.
Your little toes, cute little toes.
Yeah, I was the only one that had webbed toes, and they were the same as my dad's.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. All right, well, cool stuff. Great talk today.
We have,
I suppose,
more of our agenda, don't we?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay. I got so absorbed in.
I know. It's such a good talk.
We're supposed to do a meditation, so I got to find. Here we go. I found it. Oh, okay. Meditation time. This is a short meditation by Sylvia, and for those of you that like to prepare yourselves, find yourself a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. That's our encouragement to receive that wonderful healing energy For those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations in the on-demand. And for all of us, we are going to enjoy meditation. Here we go.
Find yourself a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and the body. Now, close your eyes when you are ready.
Symbolic roadblocks. Begin to feel yourself relax as you go down an escalator. This is your lifeline, where you can now open up your channel. This is where you can get in touch with your guides and get your messages. Count backward. 10. Let yourself go. 9. All systems work better for you than ever before. 8. Let go of all negativity. 7. Bring in God's grace through the top of your head. 6. With each breath you exhale, feel the negativity leave. 5. Go deeper. 4. Breathe more regularly. 3, 2, 1, 0. I want you to imagine yourself in a field. Feel the wind on your face and the grass flapping against your legs. And you feel the power of the Spirit move with every gust of wind. Tangible and strong. Visualize that you are surrounded by a glowing white light. Feel it about 8 to 10 inches from your body, glowing brilliantly and protecting you. In front of this field, I want you to see every negative thing that's ever been in your life beginning to rise up like symbolic roadblocks. Name each of these ugly brown blocks. Name them anxiety, neglect, fear, illness, rejection, pain, the inability to express yourself, and so on. And let these blocks build, because we have all got them looming in front of us. They hold us down to earth and block us from God. Now reach out in front of you. Take the light that surrounds you and hold it in your hand. You can pull it out from your arm just like a snowball. Throw it at the blocks with all your might. Watch them crack, crumble, and disintegrate. Furiously and more furiously, you throw these until all blocks dissolve and become dust. And there you stand, a wonderful, beautiful, God-centered being, totally in control and totally willing to do whatever God wishes you to do. Free of all judgment and guilt, you are standing and breathing free.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back. 1, 2, 3. Fully and totally alert.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
I was smashing bricks. Welcome back, everybody. Yes. And welcome back, Tom.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Organize my thought processes. So if you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to kat@novus.org or tom@novus.org. We appreciate listeners both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for Novus New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, and subscribing. Look out for our websites, novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, and chrisrightnow.com. Yes, we we are active on Facebook through Society of Novus Spiritus, Sylvia Browne Group, and New Spirit Radio Show. Let's see, YouTube, yes, Society of Novus Spiritus, Chris's Psychic Awareness, and we are on Discord. Let's see, study groups. If you want to learn more about our philosophy, sign up. Go to the website. You'll learn more about us. Church services. Yes, they are, and one is due next week. Sunday service on Facebook and YouTube. Then if you want to attend a live session, a live Sunday service, post your email on the website and you should get an invitation from Reverend Ellen Schloss for either the special Zoom service or the live Facebook group, the closed Facebook group feed of their Sunday service in Las Vegas. Now's the time for the novena that I said I would talk more about now. So we are, for new people, we're going to say a phrase together. I'm going to lead, but we'll say it together 3 times, and then I'll tell you what we want to ask for afterwards. That phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. So we'll say it 3 times, and then I'll tell you what we want to ask for. How is this important? Well, just as it states, and it follows our tenet number 10. Let no one convince you that you are less than a god. Do not let fear imprison your spiritual growth. So what I'd like you to do is visualize that we're all together, regardless of when you're watching this, that we're all together in a large room holding our hands together, making this huge circle. And we're going to start, and I will lead you on this, on the novena. So here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for yourself. Okay, here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. Okay, and the last one. Here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking this spiritual knowledge. The next thing I'd like and encourage you, think of something that you're appreciative of in the recent past. Picture that and keep that memory for the rest of this week. It's going to help keep your mood elevated and uplifted for the next week or so. And of course, show your appreciation to Francine and Raheem for researching all of this wonderful knowledge. Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. Asna for helping us and protecting us. Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy your unique spark of curiosity. Appreciate some help from Bob Ingold for the audio and some graphics. And of course, many of us love Sammy and Javon's the music they've provided for us for our intro outro music or theme music. For the show, writing up and set up and hosting is Reverend Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now a prayer by Sylvia. Somewhere. Did I get it? Yep, I got it. Okay, here we go. Prayer by Sylvia.
This is a summer solstice prayer of mourning. Dearest Mother Asna, Queen of the Universe, please magnify our knowledge and faith. We love you and adore you, Queen Asna. We pay homage and gratitude to you this day. Thank you, Asna, for your omnipotent presence. We are thankful for your love and protection, dearest Mother. Keep us safe. We feel your love, and we in turn also offer our hearts and souls to you. Dearest Mother, protect us and our children. Dearest Mother, please also include us in your mantle of protection because we are all your children. Mother, give us the courage to spread your holy name. The courage, dear Asna, Queen of the Universe, to make this world turn white in your name. Thank you, Asna. Your love has bound us together. Blessed be thy holy name. Amen.
And Kat's going to tell us.
We love you so much. Thank you so much for all your community. Good night. See you next week.
For so long we have ignored you as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. You're more than a friend to me. You give me everything I need. In your peace you hold me tight. You are the bringer of the light. With no fear we boldly stand, because you hold this world in your hands. You are the truth, you are the hope and love we never knew. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your